Peace, family. Sister Victoria X here. Just doing a couple of. I actually sent my text, my notification text out a little bit early this morning. But we are not going to wait. We're gonna go ahead and get started and get into the reading because I don't know how long it is. Oh, it's actually pretty short, so we should be able to read and get some good commentary in on today. Um, so hey, assalamu alaikum, Sister Kiana. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and get into chapter 3 of the Law of Recognition by Mike Murdock, discovering the gifts. Oh, let me make sure my mic is not muted. Well, you gotta start making sure it's not muted. Because last time I did a whole video and my mic was muted. So, all right. Peace, family. Peace, family. And so, if you guys have not tuned in or checked in with us, and you have not listened to chapters 1 and 2 of the Law of Recognition, then I would suggest that you consider going on over to my Instagram, at Sister Victoria X, because they're on there. They're not yet uploaded to my YouTube, but they will be. Hey, beloved, I hope this video works. You're brilliant. Praise be to Allah. Um, and so go ahead and head over there. We finished out our first book, which is The Real Love by Ava Muhammad last week. I've uploaded up to chapter 15 on my YouTube. So if you have not read with us or heard that book, go ahead and go to my YouTube channel, type in Sister Victoria X, scroll to the bottom and click the YouTube icon. And if you would like to get notified of when I get live or get some random motivational text messages, go ahead and text Healthy Hue, all caps, no space, to 77948. And so now we're going to go ahead and get started. We are reading chapter 3 of The Law of Recognition by Mike Murdock, discovering the gifts, opportunities, and relationships that God has already placed in your life. So it starts the chapter, Isaiah chapter 1 and 19. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. Chapter 3, recognition of your assignment. You are here on assignment. Everything God created is a solution to a problem. Your eyes see, your ears hear. Mothers solve emotional problems. Dentists solve teeth problems. Lawyers solve legal problems. Your assignment on the earth is to solve a problem for somebody, somewhere, and receive a reward for it. Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he was called. 1 Corinthians 7:27 and 20. When your assignment is unrecognized, when your assignment is unrecognized, you are uncelebrated. When you are not celebrated, you are not rewarded. No torment on earth equals the torment of living a life unrewarded for the gift and solution lying dormant in you. 10 facts you must know about your assignment. 1. Your assignment is always to a person or a people. For thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Jeremiah 1 and 7. Paul understood this, whereunto I am appointed a preacher and an apostle and a teacher of the Gentiles. 2 Timothy 1 and 11. 2. Your assignment determines the suffering. Your assignment determines the suffering and attacks you encounter. When Paul described his appointment as a preacher and teacher, he explained this. For the which cause I also suffer these things. Nevertheless, I am not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed, and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. 2 Timothy 1 and 12. What grieves, number 3, what grieves you is a clue to what you are assigned to heal and restore. Nehemiah understood this. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. And it came to pass when I heard these words that I sat down and and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Nehemiah 1 verses 3 through 4. Compassion is always a signpost to the geographical location where you belong. What makes you cry is a clue to the problem God has qualified you to heal. 4. What you love the most reveals the greatest gifts you contain. Passion is the path to your wisdom. When I know what you love to talk about, think about, and learn about, that is your place of assignment. You will only have wisdom for something you love. What do you love the most? The proof of love is the investment of time. When I find where you are willing to invest your time, I know what you love. That is your assignment. That is why Moses was willing to counsel with people from daylight to dark. He loved his people with all of his heart. Read Exodus 18, verses 13 through 14. 5. Your assignment is geographical. Where you are matters as much as what you are. You may be a beautiful whale, but you better be in water. Geography matters. It controls the flow of favor in your life. Who deter- who sees you determines who promotes you. Who sees you determines who promotes you. You will rarely receive favor unless someone sees you. Geography affects the increase of favor. That's why Jesus taught to go where you are celebrated instead of where you are tolerated. Abraham left his father's house. Ruth left Moab and followed Naomi back to Bethlehem. Back to Bethlehem. Geography plays a major part in every success story. Read Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 14 and 26. 6. You will only succeed when your assignment becomes an obsession. That explains the Apostle Paul's uncommon achievement. This one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, are in reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. Philippians chapter 3, verses 13 through 14. 7. Your assignment will require seasons of preparation. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word. 2 Timothy 2 and 15. You will experience seasons of insignificance, isolation, waiting, warfare, persecution, injustice, silence, and promotion. Jesus invested 30 years of preparation for 3.5 years of ministry. See Luke 3 and 23. 8. Your assignment may be misunderstood by your own family and those closest to you. Jesus experienced this, for neither did his brethren believe in him. John 7 and 5. Stay aware of your difference from others. God provides your family to prepare you for an enemy. Everything in your future is already in your present house. Judas or doubting Thomas. Your family is your school. Your family wants you humbled. Your enemy wants you destroyed. Your survival of your family is proof you will survive your future as well. 9. Your assignment will always have an enemy. The servant is not above his Lord. Jesus declared it. If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. John chapter 15, verses 18 and 20 through 21. Your enemies are as necessary as your friends. Your friends provide comfort, your enemies provide promotion. Enemies turn nobodies into somebodies. The only difference between obscurity and significance is the enemy you decide to conquer. Without Goliath, David would remain hidden without significance in the pages of history as a shepherd boy on the hillside. See chapter 19 on the recognition of the enemy God will use to promote you. 10. Your assignment is the only place your financial provision is guaranteed. God instructed Elijah to go to the brook where a raven would feed him. Read 1 Kings 17. There he received his daily provision. One day, the brook dried up. Why? His assignment had changed. Lack is a clue that God is changing your assignment. Elijah's new assignment was to visit Zarephath, where a starving widow would receive her financial miracle throughout the remaining part of the famine. When God sends you to a place, provision is the promised incentive for obedience. Thousands are discovering their assignment throughout the earth these days. Their joy is exploding. Their peace is like a glory cloud around their life. Depression leaves. Fear dissipates. Uncommon favor enters their life daily because they are at their place of assignment. Recognizing your assignment will dry your tears, unload your burdens, and restore the joy to your continents. And that is the conclusion of chapter 3, recognition of your assignment inside of the book, The Law of Recognition, discovering the gifts, opportunities, and relationships that God has already placed in your life by Mike Murdock. So let me welcome people to the chat. And it's time for the commentary portion of this. Walaikum salam, Sister DJ Bakes. Walaikum salam, Sister Destiny. Did you read an assignment is to solve a problem? Yep. Your assignment is. Oh, sorry, not to a person. Where did it say? Yes, I read that. Yeah, they said that. I can't. What did it say? I'm gonna go back and see. You waved. Hey, Shantae. Assalamu alaikum, sis. Walaikum salam, walaikum salam. So I could have swore that God created is a okay, you are on assignment. Everything God created is a solution to a problem. So that's what it said. Your assignment is the solution to a problem. And it says, no torment on earth equals the torment of living a life unrewarded for the gift and solution lying dormant within you. I want to get to this other part where it's talk about what grieves you is a clue to what you are assigned to heal and restore. A lot of us think that we just be going through stuff just to be going through stuff, right? But the truth of the matter is that we're being prepared for something. And like I said, like I try to get people to understand that, it's very difficult, but it's so important that we share our own individual stories. Because a lot of times we think, well, this certain person got this covered and this certain person got this covered. And we tend to force ourselves to believe that there's no room for us to fit in any space that we believe is occupied. But just like there's a million different brands of bread and everybody has their preference, there are going to be only certain people that can identify with your struggle. And not because the struggle is unique to you, because no one struggle, only one person has endured. So don't think you're alone there. But what is unique to you is the way that you perceive it, the way that you got through it, and the way that you share your story, right? Because only certain people will be able to identify with you. Yes, every prayer was answered through the womb, through a person. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that sometimes we forget that we were the answer to somebody's prayer because we've been through so many things. We could not possibly fathom this life that this life that we're living to be the answer to a prayer. And that's because we're going through the trial. But it's not the trial that's the answer to the prayer. It's the blueprint that you finna lay out for somebody else to get through it. Because there's a lot of people that are left living in trial because blueprints are not shared because we too scared to, I don't know, share a post. We too scared to share our story. We're too scared to go live. And y'all know how I do. When I was nervous about going live, I just didn't show my face. I was straight up, open this camera, turn on live, and put my phone right on the table. So if you're scared about the way that you look, the way that your skin is, the way that your hair look, what you're wearing, then just don't show your face. But people have to be able to identify and connect with you via your voice, your personality. People can see your personality and not see you at all. So it's so important that we start getting more comfortable in sharing our stories. And that sometimes your story is just a way for someone else to recognize and be appreciative of what they didn't have to go through. Not to minimize anyone's story, right? We would never do that. But some people think that they've been through some grievous things, and your story will humble them in a way to let them know that, okay, maybe I should appreciate what I did go through, because there's a lot worse things that I could have went through. Um So I thought that was cool. What grieves you is a clue to what you are assigned to heal. And then it goes on to say, in that same section, it says, what makes you cry is a clue to the problem God has qualified you to heal, right? What makes you cry? Because cry is a healing action. Sometimes we'll hold in all these tears, right? We'll feel it in our chest, we'll feel it in our body. We're scared to be judged. We scared to even judge ourselves. We won't even go in a closet and cry somewhere because we'll judge us. Oh, I'm being weak. Oh, I'm crying. There's no need to be crying about this. This is small. But crying is healing because it gets it up off your chest. And now you can actually think and move with a clear mind and a clear intention. But when you trying to hold in emotions, that's when mistakes are made because you can't even think clearly because you're too worried about concealing how you really feel. That's energy. Energy is required for stealth. Okay. Um Now this one really got me. The proof of love is the investment in time. Ooh, we spoke about that this morning. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I just talked about this with a group of sisters this morning. Right. Confirmation, because I could have sworn I was on what was I on Sister Naomi's live yesterday, and she got into some things, and I was like, we was just going over that this morning. I think y'all know how, like, they say when people and fellas, cover your ears real quick. You know how, like, when people say that the women's, when you so connected, your cycle line up. We lined up, sisters, because all of our minds are thinking in the same place. Um, but proof of love is the investment in time. When I find where you are willing to invest your time, I know what you love. I'm not gonna get too deep in that part because I think that's something that a lot is working on me with, and that kind of just exposed something real quick. So we're gonna hop over that, but I wanted to repeat that for you all. Men need to know about that. Men need to know about what? What you talking about, sis? What you talking about? What you talking about? Okay, and then it goes on to say that's why Jesus taught to go where you are celebrated instead of where you are tolerated. Abraham left his father's house. Um, I think that is so important because when you feel like people are tolerating you, you tend to shrink yourself, right? Like, sometimes I don't, and maybe this is just my lack of control, or I don't know what it is, but I don't have like a dry type of personality. I'm always like, I don't know, maybe I need to think more before I talk, but but whenever I'm in spaces and I feel like my personality becomes too much for people, or I feel like, you know what I mean, like, okay, maybe this is not the space, I do tend to say less, not because what I'm saying doesn't have the same value. It's just that I already know you're annoyed with whatever it is that I'm doing or saying. So now in trying to counteract the annoyance that I think that you feel, then I'm just not gonna say nothing. Or I'm just not gonna do nothing. Which some people might think that as a good thing, but in actuality, it's not, because there's sometimes you're the key component to a conversation. And when you allow tolerance to shrink you, right? Because we can dial back and still be who we are. But when you allow tolerance to shrink you, now the problem that's trying to be solved can't be solved because you're not giving your input. So it's very, very important to be around people and be in spaces that you're celebrated, because when you feel celebrated, you want to do more, you want to give more. Right. And it's the same thing in a tribe. I see people all the time, right? I see, I don't want to say all the time, but I've seen certain people. They'll come in. There's only okay, I've only noticed one person do this, and they quickly departed. They came in, right? And they were so critical and so negative. And like anytime someone asked for feedback, they were just da 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 da, right? And so naturally, people don't want to be around that type of energy. But there was a desire for it not to be reciprocated, and they wanted all of this praise and all of this whatever when they were posting. And so I was thinking about, you know what I mean? Like they left the space because they felt like they were being tolerated. But the problem was that they weren't willing to give in a way that they wanted to receive. Them said she shouldn't go where we are not welcome. Sometimes, oh, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we shouldn't go where we are not welcome. Sometimes our light is too bright. That's very wise, sister. She said periods are not taboo. Men need to know too. That's so crazy because I be syncing with my sis away in Texas, and I'm like, I thought it was just supposed to be proximity, but no. But yes, so to get fed, be around people that are really for you, be around people that congratulate you. If you're around those people that always be trying to one up, just get away. You don't need to argue with them. You don't need to cause no big scene. Just go to where you're celebrated, because you get what you give, right? When you tolerate a person, they sense it, and then you wonder why they got stale energy. Well, they got stale energy because they don't feel like they can be them true selves, right? But when you go to a place where you're congratulated, right? It makes you want to do more. It makes you want to give more. And it allows people permission to just be themselves and give what they are meant to give. Give what you want to receive. Yes, ma'am. Go to where you are celebrated. Okay. And then it says your assignment will require seasons of preparation. Now, this was so funny to me because we always were talking in the tribe. We always talk about being prepared versus being ready. And a lot of times the biggest thing that I see when we start new business ventures or we start new relationships or whatever it is, when we start something new, we want to get into something that we haven't properly prepared for. Like relationships. We'll just get out of one relationship and get into the next one with no time of preparation, of healing, of getting things in order, and then wonder why the relationship don't work. We have to prepare ourselves. What does it say? Show thyself approved. Like we'll get into a business environment, and then all this time we've been wanting to be in business. All this time we've been wanting to start our business, but instead of going to the free avenues, going to YouTube, or we going to Google all these articles and stuff that people give out for free. Instead of properly preparing ourselves, we think we got to wait for the big ticket item, as if as soon as we get in there, things is just going to happen. Woo child, Sister Shantae, she is all in our walk talk today. Go to where you are celebrated. You're on time with this message to the moment, Sister Victoria. Praise be to Allah. Um, and then we get into spaces and we think that it's just supposed to click. It's just supposed to happen, as if there's not a certain level of preparation. So even if you get into a class and they tell you step by step and they tell you how to do something, guess what? You still gonna have to prepare to produce. Like we have a course that teaches you how to make content from top to bottom, right? But in order for you to get to a place where you can make the content in the quickest of manners, like Sister Shantae be pumping at that content, in order to get to Sister Shantae level, there was a certain amount of preparation. There was a certain amount of videos. There was a certain amount of repetition in action. So we say that we want things, but are we willing to prepare for when we get them? Like we would literally say, I want a business. Like we was in the tribe class the other day, right? And Sister Shaba was saying how, she had hit, I think within the first month or so, of being in the tribe or the digital real estate. I think she was in digital real estate. She had hit $10,000 in sales in her business, right? And the whole time after she hit the 10,000 in sales, she was like, I don't understand. I couldn't understand why I couldn't get back to it. It's like I hit it and then it never came back. And then she said something that was so key. She said, I wanted another $10,000 month in business, but if I would have had it, I wouldn't have been able to take advantage because I wasn't properly prepared. She said the first time she hit 10K in her business, she had to shut it down. That's how much preparation uh that's how much she wasn't prepared. Now imagine asking, and we really be praying. We really be praying. We really be asking God to make room. We ask the people in our lives to make room, but we don't be preparing in the asking of it all. So if you say you want something, write it down. And then instead of writing down, well, in addition to writing down all the steps it's going to take to get there, write down the preparation. What is it going to take for you once you have it? What is it going to take for you to maintain it? She said that's right. Be prepared to receive the information and apply it. Yes, ma'am. That story tells us, yes, ma'am, that story tells itself. She said, I had a 10K business and had to shut down. And even though she knew that she had to shut down, she was still wanting 10K in business again. And she knew she wasn't prepared. But now she did that on Black Friday weekend. The sis is still going. She prepared now. Okay. So we have to be prepared. Um, and then it goes on to say, uh, that's why Jesus taught to go where you are celebrate. Okay, we hit that already. Okay, I do want to say this. So they broke down the different seasons of preparation, right? And so, hey Jason, thank you for tuning in. Um, it says the different seasons are insignificance. We don't like sitting in that season too long. We want to get out of insignificance very quickly. Okay, I want to pass up out of this. Isolation, and we sit in isolation for a long time, not realizing that there's another phase that's coming. And so we'll sit in isolation, and isolation is not always bad. I see you over here on Facebook too, Jason. Thank you for tuning in. Um, Isolation is not always bad, because sometimes, if we remember when we were reading in Real Love, she was saying that time alone is necessary. Oh, praise be to Allah. Time alone is necessary. So isolation doesn't mean that being lonely. Isolation just means time with yourself so you can get prepared. So isolation, waiting, warfare, persecution, injustice, silence, and then promotion. So just think about where we are on the scale of the seasons, and then we know, okay, we got 2 more seasons until preparation. And so the next thing is your assignment may be misunderstood by your own family and those closest to you. Just because you see it, do not mean they're gonna see it. And we have to stop holding other people accountable for the vision that God gave us. It's not their job to see it. It's your job to bring it into fruition so that they will be able to see it. Me and God, that's a blessing. I've been in isolation for over a year. I want out, ma'am. Sometimes you be sitting in a phase because of you. So if you want out, you got to figure out what's keeping you there. Um, what's keeping you there? She said, I've been in isolation for a year. Whew. Um, God provides your family to prepare you for an enemy. Lord, if that ain't the truth, if that the most opposition that we get, the most tolerance of who we are and our gifts that we receive. It's from our family, right? And what is that saying that if I could it's a saying, it's some kind of saying that talks about if this is my family, that something about, oh my gosh, if you're my family, y'all know what the saying is, something about comparing family and friends. If my family treats me like this, then I don't know, I don't want to face an enemy or something like that. Um, but family is literally preparation for enemy. Like when you think about people, like when we grow up in schools or specific areas, we talk about each other so bad. Like, and that's a pastime. That's like jokes. You know what I mean? Like we sit at I don't want to say recess, but we sit at recess and we used to just joke on each other. Like, oh, your hair this, your mama this, da 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 da, right? And then we get older, we've developed a certain kind of what's it called? Tolerance of it, or I don't know what the word is. I don't know where my words is going today. But you develop a certain kind of in I don't know what I'm saying, but y'all know what I'm saying. So now that when people talk about you, it's like, oh, they prepared me for this. Like that's all you got. If that's all you could say, girl, they said that to me when I was 12. Like that don't hit. You know what I mean? And so um I truly believe that, because the family would do you worse than friends. Because at least because family think they got lifetime access. Thick skin, yes, ma'am. Family be thinking they got lifetime access, and that because they your sister, their brother, your cousin, your mama, that you just have to tolerate them, and that you just have to. I'm just focused. Okay, let me. That you just have to tolerate them, and you just have to focus on them. But in actual reality, we don't. I mean, I could love you and you still gonna be my sister, cousin, mama, friend. Not friend, but there's a way to do that from a distance. Wisdom over rubies. Ooh, I like that name. Welcome to the chat. And so, but friends, right? To a certain level, especially when you're establishing friends with someone, there's a certain level of proof that you go through as a person. You try to show yourself to be a worthy friend, right? And so sometimes friends are much better. They treat you better, they encourage you better, and they interact with you better than those close to you, because the people that are close to you feel as though they doctored in. What do they say? Grandfathered into your life, that no matter what, they're gonna be going on with you. And it's okay to disconnect, because that's not true. Thank you, sis. All praises due to Allah. And so it says, your family wants you humbled, your enemy wants you destroyed. Your survival of your family is proof you will survive your future as well. Some of us have gone through some grievous trials and acts, things that have been done to us by the hands of our family, right? And so sometimes we allow that to keep us from creating and building relationships with people that are outside of our family. But your survival of your family is proof you will survive your future as well. So, your enemies are as necessary as your friends. So stop saying I got haters, stop hating on me. They're necessary. It says that the only difference between obscurity and significance is the enemy you decide to conquer. Wait, where did I go? Your enemies are as necessary as your friends. Your friends provide comfort, your enemy provide promotion. There we go. Your friends provide comfort, your enemy provide promotion. So if they, saying stuff that's bad about you and they hating on you or they doing whatever, guess what? There's a promotion coming. Ding 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 ding. And sometimes the promotion is just a change in perspective. Yes, sandpaper needed. Yes, ma'am. Sometimes the promotion is just a change in perspective, honey. Okay. Your assignment is the only place your financial provision is guaranteed. You ever been doing something and the money's flowing and then you switch and then it's like, "Oh, wait, I thought I had it." Or you add something new that wasn't supposed to be added and then somehow things just seem to diminish. I never thought about it like that. When God sends you to a place, provision is the promise incentive for obedience. And then the last part is lack is a clue that God is changing your assignment. That's crazy. When the well runs dry. And then the last piece is recognizing your assignment will dry your tears, unload your burdens, and restore the joy to your countenance. So when we go through trials, right, we need to start writing that blueprint so that once we out of it, so that once we figure out and get through those stages, that we'll be able to share with other people. I'm sorry, y'all just not as engaging right here. So I'm right here, but I'm talking to y'all too. Okay. So yeah, start writing your blueprint. Even if you're in the middle of a trial, start writing your blueprint because you know you're gonna come out because that's just the cycle of life. So at least next time, if you find yourself in that same place, you got a blueprint that you can visit and then also tweak because if you back in the same place, it kind of mean that something ain't changed. But at least if you have a blueprint, you can scientifically dissect and take out pieces and put pieces in where they fit. Praise be to Allah. Dry up what isn't for me. Ooh, she said, dry up what isn't for me. Praise be to Allah. This is Naomi, always in the chat, giving up the goods. But that is the conclusion of our reading and the commentary for chapter 3, recognizing recognition of your assignment. Inside of the book The Law of Recognition by Mike Murdock, discovering the gifts, opportunities, and relationship that God has already placed in your heart. I'm going to save this video on both, so please share it out. If you found any value, comment below once the video is posted, something that you got out of the reading. And if you would like to get notified when I go live, text Healthy Hugh, all caps, no spaces, 77948. And I appreciate your time. Enjoy your day.